Hi, everybody. I'm Shannon, and I feel so lucky today because we have one of my most favorite product voices in the world with us. His name is Paweł Huryn. You've probably heard of him. He runs the Product Compass and the Product Compass newsletter, and these are by far the number one and number two resources that I send all PMs to, especially right now if they want to learn about AI, which, as you know, is one of our foremost topics to learn about. Paweł is an expert in his field, and he's dedicating so much time to this community, and we're really grateful to have him as one of our experts to talk about discovery and AI today. Thank you so much, Paweł, for being here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me, Shannon.
So we're going to start with a question that is not necessarily just about AI. It's, of course, one of the technologies that we can use to solve problems. But while you've been a really big proponent of it, I wondered, are there use cases where you would just recommend a non-AI automation or some other basic solution?
Okay, so one of the problems that I see is that people often start with technology. In this case, this is AI, and try to find a problem that this technology can solve. And while sometimes it might be a good idea because technology can allow us to solve new problems that were impossible to solve before, in many cases, we don't need to use AI at all, especially when we are talking about automation, because business process automation, automating workflows, this is something we've been doing for many years. I've been doing workflows to automate processes in companies like 10 years ago, and this is not a new technology. So if your process has clearly defined rules, like clearly defined steps, the clear flow of tasks between process participants, everything, there is always a correct answer that you can easily describe with the algorithm. For example, I fill in the form to send a relief request, and depending on some rules, like my department, a manager of this department needs to approve my request. And then, depending on the approval or rejection, something else happens. We have integration with external system like HR and so on. So in that case, there is no space to artificially inject AI in this process. But if our process is more nuanced, like we need to generate text, generate data, interpret the user input, like interpret user emotions or classify user actions, then we might need AI, because there is this part that is not easy to describe deterministically, and also the answer, there is no clear algorithm to describe the answer. We need to generate it, and we need some kind of intelligence in the middle.
Sounds to me like if it's well defined, maybe you don't need to over complexify the solution with AI.
Yeah, that's correct. And
even,
and I would argue that even if you recently we've been looking a lot in the product space about AI agents, even if you need to use AI, please don't move everything to the AI layer, because even with this AI or agents in the middle, most of the process will most likely be deterministic. So instead, you can use a standard tool like Zapier, like an AN, like Make, to orchestrate the steps and put AI agent only in those places where you need this generation, when you need more intelligence. But delegating the entire process and describing the rules, like they are clearly defined, and moving them to the prompts, it is not a good idea.
In your experience, is AI data collection different from a typical data discovery mission, or do you see a difference in the way that you would do collection or discovery if it's AI versus non-AI?
I might have a hypothesis that the solution, or that I'm exploring the problem space where AI can be a tool, but I wouldn't do anything differently. So I would start with understanding problems that people have, and then based on those problems, consider different solutions. One of them might be artificial intelligence. maybe I will avoid mentioning specific platforms, but some of the social media platforms, in my opinion, made that mistake that they, in this strategy, made an assumption that now we will be AI powered and AI first company, and we will solve every user problem with AI, and they required product managers to find problems that AI can solve. And in my opinion, it didn't end well for them. I don't see a good progress. So it ended up with artificial features that do not solve any real customer pain points.
Especially,
So we collect.
like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No. Just we collect data like in any other process. Try to understand the problems people have, why they are important, how for them, what would change if this problem was solved. Try to understand the context, and then based on that, either talk to the customers more to understand it even better, or ideate, think about solutions.
It sounds to me like it's very practical advice. Basically, just understand the problem first. Don't try. I liked it when you said, don't try to find problems that only AI can solve, right? Because it's about finding the high value problem and solving that, whether it's with AI or not. So it sounds like at the beginning, you start with the same process. Just try and find a high value, frequently felt, high pain, unsolved, unmet need. Start there, discover that, and then see, is AI a good solution?
Yeah, that's correct. And of course, sometimes you might have initial hypothesis about AI, like you know that you want to create a AI personal AI psychologist, for example. And you see that there is a problem with access to those specialists. But still, I will try to turn off my intuition for a moment and just discover the problems people have, and then go back to ideation with knowing that AI is most likely a good solution.
Tell us, how do your templates help teams really get valuable signals from users?
So one of the things that I learned very early when working and learning and practicing product discovery was that people are biased. And if we ask people about their opinions, like what is the reason you do something, or why it is important for you, or what features you would like to have in your product, then we might not get the most reliable answers. So instead of asking about opinions, instead of asking about those even opinions that people have about themselves, which are not necessarily correct because they often don't understand the motives for their behaviors, it's better to ask about specific situations. So, for example, tell me about the recent time when you struggled with some workflow in your company. And then it's like storytelling. So we encourage customer to go to describe the process step by step, like what happens later. Did you struggle with something? Did someone help you? How did you solve this problem, or have you tried to find a workaround? And for example, if the customer says that something is important for them and they faced a problem in the past, but they have not even tried to find a workaround or an existing solution, I have learned that this problem is not important, because if something is important, I would at least try to Google it. Now you can ask ChatGPT. So the storytelling and learning about people real behaviors based on specific examples, it is much more valuable than just asking about opinions or ideas.
Are there mistakes that you've seen teams execute when trying to automate discovery, maybe with AI tools, a little too soon or too much? And how do you help them to avoid that trap?
I think that one of the problems might be relying on AI too much. So, for example, and this is, I know this is unrelated, but when writing the product compass posts, I manually create a mind map using Xmind. I do research manually with like this is a tree structure, hierarchical structure with all the information, links, and interesting facts. And I have learned that this works much better than just asking AI to break down the topic or suggest some ideas. And similarly, when in my previous company I was working with on product discovery, we didn't start ideation with AI. We started by thinking about the problems ourselves, and only then presenting those ideas and asking about like additional insights or something that we might have missed. But fully delegating something to AI, it means that you might not even understand. Because if you take, for example, social listening, so you use links of existing sites to analyze the problems people have, analyze their opinions. Maybe they mention missing features on social media. And then you can ask AI to summarize the pain points and prioritize them. Then AI can ideate solutions and then suggest experiments. So you might end up with the list of experiments and the list of ideas, but you do not even understand the problems well because you haven't processed it yourself. So yeah, AI should support product team and can help with ideation, can help with summarizing meetings that you actually led. If this is social listening, it can help summarize the content, but I would still look into the data and just to make sure that I have the same intuition. So at least I have verified manually 10, 20 comments, and then I provided 200, and I see that what AI has created and what I verified manually, there is those two perspectives match together.
Interesting point about social listening that I've seen in our business is that it's really interesting. However, you don't always know if it's your ICP doing the talking when you're listening. So this is yet another reason to do more discovery on those types of tools. And in some ways, I find it even maybe generates a little more work. Like it might discover, as you said, solutions, but you don't fully understand the problem. And it will make suggestions before you even know, like, are these the right people talking to me? Is this the people that I want to work with? And I think that's an important part of the discovery.
Yeah, I like this argument because if you do not even look at the data and if you read those 10 or 20 comments, like yourself, you will understand that those are anonymous users or there is no information about their profiles. But if you just get the ready input without verifying what was the source of those insights, you might miss things like, is this my ICP? Maybe this is a completely different source unrelated to my product.
What would you say is the ideal moment in someone's product lifecycle to apply data discovery and a template like yours? Would it be like pre-seed sort of MVP when they're trying to find product market fit, when they're scaling, when they're mature? What's your opinion?
You can do it on every, you can and you should do it on every scale. So sometimes this data discovery and caring really deeply about how customers use the product, what problems they have, how we can solve them with AI, this can be helpful with what I call the initial product discovery. So we have not even built an MVP, but we are working on a new product, and this can be part of our core value proposition, especially with AI. But also later when we have a product and the real users on production, we need to continuously discover work in this continuous product discovery cycle, where we, on the one hand, we have the stream where we every week we talk to the customers, try to understand them, formulate hypotheses, think about solutions, and then run experiments to prove or disprove those assumptions. And on the other hand, we continuously work on delivering new product versions and iterating. So, and it is especially important when working on AI products, because on AI products, There is a great video I can reference it later. That in the old model, without using AI, some companies were still using this waterfall model where they collected all the requirements at the start, then that they called it the discovery phase, then they proceed with implementation, and of course, without iterating, it was not ideal, but sometimes it worked, not ideally. But with AI, it's virtually impossible to do it like that, because the AI models are very unpredictable. We do not even know what the target architecture should be before trying different things. And we need to build something, not experiment, but actually build an LLM pipeline with RAG, with we need to build an LLM pipeline to see if the responses that we are getting are the right ones and iterate from there. So there is this entire AI evaluation cycle where we develop something, we generate traces, we analyze errors, and we keep improving, experimenting, and talking to the users and verifying how our AI-powered product works. So yeah, when working with AI, it's much more important to keep iterating, and it's much more difficult. Even for a single feature, we cannot fully define that feature before we try to build it. This is completely different than creating a prototype, Figma prototype, where we can test this prototype internally, we can test it with the users, and more or less, even if we need to adjust it a bit after deploying it in production, it will be what we have designed initially. With AI, it's completely different story. We need multiple iterations, adjusting prompts, changing the pipeline, analyzing errors, and so on.
For someone who's listening, who's stuck in a really shallow discovery loop, maybe they have work constraints, maybe they just don't know how to expand it. What's the first thing that they should try with your templates to go deeper and get better data?
Need to keep asking questions and getting first-hand responses rather than relying on some business stakeholders that can bring problems. Sometimes in large organizations, this is the case, that the CEO can say that I know what customers want and this is what they want, so please build it. And even if they are right, if we don't talk to the customers, we cannot empathize with them enough. We will not develop the right understanding of the problem. Also, the team will not develop that understanding, and it can result in not ideal solution. So yeah, the first thing is just to talk to the customers. If you cannot do it, I would not ask for permission, because also I noticed that some product managers say that we are not allowed to do product discovery. But I have never understood what exactly it means, because you have customer data, you have your colleagues in customer support, customer success. You can ask them to attend the meetings and start building relationships with the customers. You can trigger in-app surveys. You can just contact customers and start talking to them without asking for permission. So and just not explain how you do what you do, but then during the meeting you can present the insights that you collected. So I've talked to 10 customers, and those are the data we collected. Those are the insights. 7 out of 10 had a specific problem, and we think that we can solve it like this, or we already started the implementation, and previously we have performed an experiment which confirmed that something. So, and it just happens.
Some data is definitely better than no data. And I love when you say, like, don't ask permission. If you haven't been given the mission, don't ask permission, is what I tell people. Because you, as a PM, part of your job is to ensure value is going to be delivered at the end of the day. And if you're not validating the problem space appropriately and who it's for, then your solution is just going to be a shot in the dark, essentially. So if we're really looking to de-risk, I think your advice is very good. Just get out there. I actually recommend to a lot of people to do surveys when your managers or leaders, for whatever reason they have, don't want you talking to customers, doing a targeted survey. And we just beefed up our targeting a lot for this reason, actually. You can say, like, this group with this data that we pulled from our API in this context, when this trigger happens after this amount of time, like, we can be very granular in that. And it's really helpful to get that information without actually having to lead interviews, or maybe even to use it as a recruitment tool to lead your interviews. We see people also using it for that, and if they can't have direct access. But I really think your advice about don't ask permission and talk with other team members to get in those meetings if they are happening, it's a great idea.
And I've been doing it in my previous work. So when we lacked customers for interviews, we just started using CSAT and customer effort score surveys to recruit participants. And we kept them short just to scratch the surface level problems in some cases, but a lot of customers left their email address, and yeah, they confirmed that we can contact them. So that was a great recruitment tool.
We see a lot of people who who create bug reports as another recruitment method. So you told us about this bug. Can we have a follow-up with you? And you hear about that bug, you talk to them about it, you try and resolve the thing that they were upset about, like, of course. But it's also another great opportunity to actually dig deeper into their process, into their pain points. And you can really leverage even something as simple as, hey, this form didn't work or something, or hey, this page has a bug on it. And you can use that to dig deeper into your ICP's real problems.
Yeah, like as a PM, you cannot wait for someone to tell you what to do or how to achieve your goals. You need to improvise sometimes. So another thing that I did in the past was analyzing support requests and then writing to those customers to because some support tickets were rejected because it was not a bug, but it turned out that customer didn't understand something. So we reach out to those customers to ask about how we can improve the product in the future, or maybe they struggle with something else, and I'm happy to talk and present what is possible. Yeah, so you need to take the initiative and don't wait for someone to tell you what to do.
I love that advice. That's going to be it for us today. We learned don't ask permission, take initiative, use surveys as a door opener, but also as a way to dig deeper, look for the problem space, whether it's AI or not, and really just focus on getting a deep understanding of the user and their problem, and then you'll be sure to collect good data about them. Thank you so much, Paweł, for being with us today. And just so everybody gets the resources, productcompass.pm and the Product Compass newsletter. These are my go-to resources for PMs looking to learn about AI, looking to learn about product, and especially discovery, since you have an entire course on there, which I myself have taken and found to be fantastic. Everybody go check it out. And thank you again, Paweł, so much for this advice.
Thanks for having me.